Hello, my name is Shuaiduo Sun. In this video, I will critically talk about the research methods and directions of our group project. The theme of our group is to study the changes of gender inequality in workplace during the COVID-19 epidemic. Although we have come to the conclusion that the epidemic has exaggerated gender inequality, we have ignored many important issues in the process of research. We already made a definition on gender inequality in the project. But this definition is not deeply combined with various aspects. Through the combination of literature and data, I think the gender inequality in the workplace is affected by many factors. From the perspective of education, especially in medical education, gender bias is obvious in classroom stereotypes and textbooks. For example, courses that require professional skills are traditionally considered to be male fields, such as surgery. From the perspective of algorithm, it shows that gender discrimination in recruitment. For example, in online advertisement, high-income job ads appear more frequently in front of men. The search results actually reflect the values of recruitment department, who believe that men are more valuable than women in high-income jobs. From the perspective of family, on the one hand, in the epidemic, female may allocate more time to housework than male, thus weakening women's ability to work. On the other hand, if women need to get promotion, they will face the choice of sacrificing family life, but men will not. In the workplace, men are more likely to get along with other men, and many opportunities to make friends are related to sports, bars, senior lounges, and so on, while women will feel uncomfortable in these places. Therefore, in the workplace, women have fewer good relationships and role models than men, which will hinder their career advancement. Besides, there are also many aspects that affect gender inequality in the workplace. They are not independent, but related to each other. For example, in psychology, women are more likely to spend more time on emotion and nursing. However, in the current medical education system, the teaching methods to help men progress will not be attractive enough to women. Gender inequality in education means that the level of medical training in school for women may be lower than that for men. This situation will reduce women's deep research in the medical field, so the lack of high-profile academic research may be one of the reasons why few women take the leading role in the medical system. The lack of women in senior positions means that personal and collective opinions are less likely to be expressed in the decision-making process. So in most systems, the rules are often decided by men. Thus, I think gender inequality in the workplace, such as the general absence of women in leadership, actually reflects structural inequality. Structural inequality refers to the inequality systematically rooted in the normal operation of leading social institutions. It includes discrimination, stereotype, neglected social issues, and so on. Sociologist Aaron Check divides the structural inequality faced by women in the workplace into two types: social networks that restrict women's access to valuable resources, and cultural structures that degrade women's ability and punish their self-confidence. When I did the Week 17th task, I tested this idea. When collecting the data from NHS recruitment website, I found that the official publicity photos of nurses tend to use female images, while doctors tend to be male. This shows that women are considered to be more suitable for service job, while men are more suitable for professional jobs. Gender stereotypes and social networks affect all aspects of women's work. Secondly, for the study of group project, it is hard to find the data related to non-binary people, which also reflects the structural inequality. Gender itself is a social structure. The absence of data does not mean that this problem of structural inequality does not exist, but has not been discovered. Structural inequality is a problem of scale. For example, I cannot collect data about non-binary groups from NHS official websites, NHS Gender Pay Gap Report, and other channels. However, according to the non-binary equality policy of NHS Devon Partnership, there are indeed non-binary employees in the organization. So in the Gender Pay Gap report, we don't know whether the data of these employees have been included in the data or in which category. The absence of data means that these marginal groups are ignored in many aspects. Taking data as the center means that power controls the way of human thinking and existence. When collecting and analyzing data, we need to think about the concept and the structure behind our classification system, such as who is making decision, who ultimate benefit. In the beginning of the designing data, our group decided to represent our data in the form of the game. We planned to create an act game and hope to simulate the difficulties faced by women in the workplace through the movement of the protagonist. But there are many controversial issues about this approach. Then, we decided to use Twin to design a test game to encourage players to focus on the narrative, because the pure text will increase the player's imagination space so as to reduce the stereotype while watching the screen. We want players to think about whether their behaviors respond to gender stereotypes through the result of different options. But this design does not guarantee that players will actively think about inequality. For example, players play as the HR manager of the medical organizations can only make limited strategies based on the options when making personnel adjustments. This kind of restriction will limit the player to the information given by the designer, thus reducing the chance for the player to think actively. Just as many ludology scholars deny the narrative function of games, they think that games cannot transmit information like other media. But I think the game can still convey the designer's position and let the players perceive the data in the interaction. Data feminism argued that the expression of data can elevate emotion and embodiment. What we need to improve is to balance the relationship between objectivity and subjectivity. Balancing emotions and rationalities enables us to focus on what is really important in the design process, such as taking action against stereotypes and reimagining the world. According to the reflection on the group project, first, gender inequality is a kind of structural inequality. Strategies to address gender inequality must come from institutions, such as managers' attitudes, clear commitment, and support during and after maternity leave. Secondly, in the display of data, designers should pay attention to balance emotion and objectivity, and avoid enhancing stereotypes in the display.